Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Hexia and I make Dead by Daylight boosted content on this channel. Today we're going to go over my tips for catching survivors. If you're pretty new to the game and pretty new to the killer side, it may be a little rough on you when catching survivors. And if you're not that new, but you are leveling up into the ranks and those survivors get a little bit more tricky to catch, that's what I'm here for. Stick with me as I give you a few tips to help you out in your chases. Alright, into the very first tip is to pick a killer as a main and stick to them as you learn the maps and the killer. So what I mean by that is if you're brand new to the game and you have not purchased any DLC, killers, or survivors, but you have played a few games and decide to stick to killer, find one of the 4 killers available to you and pick one that you gravitate towards. Out of the 4, I would advise you not to start with Nurse. Nurse is one of the hardest killers to learn due to her abilities. I would strongly go for one of the other 3 available to you. There's the Trapper, who places traps around the map to catch survivors. If you need a beginner's guide, go check out my video. I will put it in the link below. You also have the Wraith, who is a stealth killer who sneaks up on survivors while invisible and catches them off guard when they cloak. And then you have the Huntress, who is good for players who are coming from first-person shooters. So the Huntress uses hatches to throw across map or close next to a survivor, but she is a ranged killer. And so the reason that I say to pick a killer and to stick with them is because if you're very new to the game, not only are you learning the maps and where the loops are in each map, but you're also learning how to play against survivors and you're learning how to play your killer. Each killer in the game, I believe there is 27 or 28 right now. I think the 28th is coming out next Tuesday in the PTB. Each killer has a specific ability, a specific way to catch survivors. And you need to not master them, but you need to get comfortable enough with that killer and know that you like that killer before you can proceed and be better at catching survivors. When you know how to use the ability to catch the survivor so you can get a hit or a down, that's when you're going to be really good at them. So there is also another killer named the Hillbilly, but I would strongly suggest against doing him as well. He has a chainsaw ability and he can chainsaw across map. He's kind of like Blight, who is a DLC killer. His curve ability to his chainsaw takes a little bit to get used to, and I would say he is right below Nurse in difficulty rank, for me at least. At least that's what I have found. So I would suggest staying either Trapper, Huntress, or Wraith. And if you have a little bit of money and you want to use that money to not only get a good easy killer to start out with, but also a really strong perk that you do need to have if you are serious about killer and you do want to use some money in the game, I would go with the Cannibal. I know everybody says that, but it's true. Using Bubba, I would say if you don't want to use one of the free killers that come with you, if they don't resonate with you, I would try Bubba. He's very easy to master. His attack, his chainsaw is an instant down like Billy, and his barbecue and chili perk is essential for finding survivors. Once you hook a survivor, you can find the other 3 survivors as long as they're not hiding from you either in a locker or from one of their perks across the map, and you can find out where you need to go next. Okay, tip number 2 is stumbling upon multiple survivors. So when finding multiple survivors at once, go for the survivor who takes off into the open. Usually when you come across multiple survivors, either on a gen or healing, they will run in separate paths. One will head to the nearest loop, causing the other one to try and escape you somewhere else. An example here, when I was playing Pinhead, is I was chasing this Meg up into the top part of the map. I did get a hit on her, and then I heard my totem break, and then right out of the corner of my eye to the left, out comes Leon, and he ran directly towards a small loop while the Meg that I had hit had continued to run out into the open. So I continued to chase her instead of going for him because not only was he not injured like the Meg, but he ran towards a semi-strong loop and at the very beginning of the game, you want it down as soon as possible. Keeping on the right path is essential. You need to find the survivor who is going to run out into the open or into an unsafe pallet area where you can at least get one hit. Alrighty, tip number 3 is finding the weak link of the team. As much as it sucks to be the weakest link in any survivor team, because we have all been there, let's be honest, if you find yourself losing gens too quickly, you should start looking for the survivor who goes down the easiest. They usually give themselves away by running out into the open or falling for the slightest double back or moonwalk play that you throw at them. As fun and rewarding as it is to catch the survivor who knows how to run you, if you are wanting to win, finding the weak link and focusing them is your best option. So that leads me into my next tip, which is knowing when to leave a chase. As a killer, you essentially have 2 to 3 jobs. You have to chase and hook the survivors 3 times per survivor before they're out of the game. You have to keep an eye on your totems, and you have to keep generator control. It sounds like a lot, right? It sort of is. The last thing you want to do is start the game and get into a 5-minute chase with the best survivor on the team, and then 3 gens pop in succession because the other 3 survivors have been left alone on gens. When you find your first survivor, watch where they run. If they take you to a strong loop like the Killer Shack, and you aren't confident that in that loop you can down them successfully, leave them. Go check your gens for another survivor. There is always going to be that weak link in the team or a couple weak links in the team. If they're not expecting you to come back to the gen, that is your chance to get that down. Do not take a strong survivor loop like the Killer Shack at the very beginning of the game. Alrighty, the last tip I have for you guys today is to learn how to moonwalk. It is very essential that you outplay the survivors as much as possible to get a hit or a down. And if they continuously see your red stain when you could be hiding it by moonwalking and then walking around the corner with the survivor unaware of where you are, that's the difference between getting that hit and the survivor saying, "Oh, there's the killer," and then your hit is completely gone. You gotta learn when and where to moonwalk. And if the survivor has no idea where you are, you're most likely going to get that hit because you were sneaky enough to keep that red stain from their view. I have a little clip here of me moonwalking so that I can get a hit on the survivor here. And I would honestly say the best tip I could give you out of all of the tips that I give you, the best way you're going to do it is to watch it and then do it yourself. Like my YouTube video and many other YouTube videos like mine, but also streamers are going to be your best friend. There's many different streamers, some of which are both killer and survivor streamers. Others are strictly killer and strictly survivor. And if you found my little video, that probably means that you do know some of these streamers. So I'm going to list off a few that I know of that I personally watch. And I did watch when I was newer, and they helped me so much that I decided to make this channel to give back. Anyways, these are the streamers that I watch to get better, both for killer and survivor. So if you're looking for survivor, I would suggest Angry Pug. I know some people don't like Angry Pug. I personally don't have an issue with him, and I learned so much from him. I learned everything I learned from him survivor-wise. Has helped me rise in the ranks very quickly. For killers, there are plenty of killer mains out there. I would suggest Kai Z, or his name was Kai Zen, but I think he goes by Kai Z now. He's strictly a killer main. He has over, I believe, 8,000 hours in the game. He plays all the killers in rotation, and he's very, very good, and he is just the sweetest person. There's also, if you're looking to become a Huntress main, Ralph is a very, very good streamer on Twitch. And when I'm saying streamer, I do mean Twitch. If you're looking for an all-rounded killer main like Kai Z, you also have a YouTuber and streamer, Spooky Loops and Spook and Jukes. Amazing content creators in my opinion, and I look up to them so much, and I watch them every chance I get. There is also, obviously, Otstarva. If you're in this community, you know who Otstarva is. And if you don't know who Otstarva is, he is a huge Dead by Daylight content creator on YouTube and on Twitch. And he is also a fog whisperer for the Dead by Daylight team. and he is also a killer main. And he's very, very informative, but also the other names I gave you are just as informative. And who knows, you can be on Twitch and you can find Starva or Spook and Jukes or Spooky Loops, Kaizen, even Pug. Pug plays a little bit of killer, and there's plenty of other names that I watch as well, that I didn't name here. And who knows, you could find one that resonates with you. It's all about looking, and they're watching them play for a few hours per day is invaluable in my opinion. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos all you like, but when you're in a game and you see them, just the mind games that they play on these survivors to get that hit, apply those to your game. Be surprised how many times I would do a move that I saw Spooky Loops doing or Kaizen, and I got that hit because they just weren't expecting it. But it does also come down to finding the killer for you or the killers for you. But again, I would suggest one killer to start out with. And then if you really love the game and you're willing to spend some money on it, get Bubba or the Cannibal. That's his name, the Cannibal. Get his perk on the killer that you like. And then if you want to try other killers, some are more similar than others, ability-wise. Spend some more money, but it's all up to you because the DLC, it gets really expensive. There's 27 DLC, I believe. I think there's actually a little bit more for cosmetics. So I would just say you're going to get better. You're going to out-mind game the survivors. And just with this new MMR, there's going to be games where you lose. That's just the gist of it. Unless you play kind of like an asshole. And what I mean by that is just tunneling, camping, you know, everything that is kind of frowned upon in the game. If that's what it takes to win for you, if that's what makes you happy in the game, do it. I personally don't have a problem with it. It's how you play. If that's how you want to play, that's great, but it is frowned upon in the community, and sometimes the community does get a little toxic. I'm just saying be careful with how you play. You could play however you want. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm more than happy to make another video on this topic. There's plenty I did not cover. There is so much that goes into killer. There's so much situational things that come with playing killer, especially in different killers, which is why I'm making a list of how to play killer for beginners. I only have 2 videos out so far. I'm planning on making another one this week, and I'm going to keep going down that list, but when the new killer comes out, that's who I'm going to prioritize. I am really looking forward to new killer. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, if I didn't make anything clear, please let me know down in the comments and I'd be happy to answer you. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.